The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to a instant reaction special edition of Soccer to the Max with a look at the United States men's national team getting the 3 points that they needed in a 4-0 victory over Panama in Orlando. There was times where it wasn't a perfect game. There was times where it could have been a little different, but thankfully for the US it did not, and so they take one step forward into qualification. They only need a draw if results go their way, but if you get the win, you don't have to worry about anything and you're in. On Tuesday, now they have to wait till tomorrow to see what happens with Honduras and Costa Rica as well. And the Mexico-Trinidad game doesn't really matter. So that is why we did not wait until after that game to do this. But Erik, pretty sound win for the U.S. and got to give props to your Orlando City fans there. They were loud, boisterous, and in it the whole time.
Look, it's Orlando, the city beautiful. It's a Friday night, and I gotta give credit to the Panamanian contingent who also showed up. They had, I believe, upwards of a couple thousand fans there as they pretty much shut down their country for this match. But there were altogether a little over 25,000 strong. Outlaws, very well done on them for showing up. Yeah, they know how to do it down there.
Yeah, that's always sort of just sad to hear that a country has shut down for a match and then they go out there and perform like that. Just that's got to be absolutely heartbreaking. You have to wonder if Argentina's going to be that way on Tuesday night as well, knowing that their entire World Cup hopes hang in the balance. Poor Lionel Messi, if he doesn't have enough pressure on him already.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ups and pulls another retirement and makes it for real this time.
Now you have to wonder what kind of mood Ecuador is going to be in because they are now officially eliminated. They are at home though, Ecuador. And if they want to play spoiler to one of the historical great powers in South America, they certainly could do it. So, going to be fun to watch that. It's going to be fun to watch the rest of qualifying. And still, the U.S. have a way to go. They still have to get a result in Trinidad. You don't get a result, you then have to pray that Costa Rica actually comes to play and defeats Panama or makes Panama get a draw. So that's another thing to take a look at. And also, if Honduras loses to Costa Rica, they're done. So that's the thing for Honduras too. They not only have to win, they have to win big in both their games, and they've got the stiffest competition in Costa Rica and Mexico to deal with, and that sucks for them. Luckily for both Honduras and Panama, they play that last game at home, so that gives them a little bit of an advantage. But we'll see how that goes next week. Let's talk about this game, though. Christian Pulisic, he was lights out in that first 20, 25 minutes. He was the guy that made things go for the U.S., got that first goal, rounding the keeper. That's a tough angle, Erik, and he still put it in.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when you play the kind of precision football that you see in Germany. He's brought more and more of that element here of his game here with the U.S. national team. And not just the angle. You're still talking beating the keeper, beating 2-3 defenders, because he keeps drawing them in. And to have a kind of sidestep, almost a teeny bit of a spin move involved, very well done. Just well done all around.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, he was active from the word go, getting things going. He got the goal just shooting through the defense. They did not see him coming through. Then just round Spinetto, and again, like I said, just a tough angle. He puts it in. That's an early goal in about the 8th or 9th minute for the U.S. I mean, I think he could have asked for a better start. Just gets everything going. That dude is pumped. He's going nuts. And then you see a little bit of the different side of Pulisic, where sometimes he will keep the ball and try to do too much on himself. Very quickly, you saw that where he could have just giving it off to Bobby Wood, and he doesn't. And then he gets in a crowd of like four Panamanian defenders, and that pretty much kills that chance. Then quickly after that, you get the Matt Beasler where Beloy elbows him. They call it an accident, but he's bleeding from the eye.
Ow.
Weird no call there to have the foul or anything else.
Yeah, that particular, in seeing that and even seeing the replay, while yes, the referee, you can say made up for it later, because I really think that the Bobby Wood...
I think he called a really quick foul in that corner.
Yeah. You quick foul on the corner, and then again, later on, you get the ticky-tack call on the penalty kick.
The penalty kick, I think, was a penalty.
I mean, I saw the contact. Maybe it was just the replay angles that they showed on TV, but from how they showed it on TV, it looked kind of sketchy. It really did.
You could say that. I still think there's contact where you can decide to knock. And listen, this is when this penalty happens, the U.S. is already up 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like one of those where you're making the decision of, oh, this changes the game.
Right.
It does, because being 2-0 and 3-0 is a big difference. 2-0 is the most. There used to be a saying of 2-0 is the
hardest. A 2-goal lead is the hardest lead to protect.
Well, not just that. 2-0 is also the biggest liar of a lead. Like, you can easily tie that up. We see that so many times where it becomes 2-1, and then the pressure's all on the defending team to make sure that second goal doesn't go in. And yes, again, it does change the game for the U.S. at that point, but the referee could have easily said, okay, no penalty, U.S. is already up, it's not like they needed this goal, we can let things go. But I think it takes a lot of courage to go ahead and just call that penalty and say, woo, I'm really going to blow this game open to the point where it may be difficult for the other team to get, back into it. I don't know that really goes into their mind, but situations are important sometimes. It's the whole why you don't give a red card in the first 5 minutes a lot of times, unless it's egregious, or even a yellow card, so. Yeah, you're right in that it could have easily gone the other way, but I feel like there's enough there. I think before that, too, is just to end the whole Pulisic really being dominant in that early part, it's the second goal. Right? Just a ball to Pulisic on the left, and he puts in a sumptuous cross where it just goes by everybody right to the foot of Josie and in. I mean, you couldn't ask for an easier goal. And that quickly, within the first 20 minutes, you're up 2-0. I mean.
Yeah. And the thing is with Panama, and they talked about, why are you playing a 4-4-2? Why didn't you go out in a 4-5-1 and sit back? No. They wanted to have an open game at the beginning because they figure, okay, we strike first. We try to outscore the U.S. That's going to force them into a different situation, and we play the draw. But unfortunately, like the U.S. got too spread out at moments, Panama was just all over the pitch in those 20 minutes. Pulisic took advantage.
Yeah, the counter was deadly because they were also giving the ball away a lot,
which
is a problem for them in this game, which is weird because Panama is usually a very good defensive team. They're very organized. They came out. I do think there's something to be said for having way too many attacking players on the pitch. When you are away from home, you have to understand the U.S. team is under a lot of pressure. They are not going to come out and be defensive. They're going to come out and want to take it to you because they want to get this over with. And so instead of kind of trying to withstand, like you said, they came out way too open and they got crushed. And to be fair, they did have a few close ones. Like before the goal, they had that ball that's kind of in the box and it bounces between Quintero and Perez, and then it gets finally knocked away by Beasler at the end, which easily could have gone. If it went straight to the feet of Perez, we could have been seeing a goal that ties the game. You had the after Armando Cooper came in, which he actually settled them down, and they played a little bit better after that. You had the Yedlin, where he has to come in at the last second and make that save to keep it from going in front of Howard after it already gone through two different U.S. men's national team defenders. You had the one where Quintero puts it in there for Blas, and Howard has to make that save where he jumps. I mean, so this is still a 2-0. They had opportunities, and there was times where that U.S. defense looked shaky. They were not. They were getting gassed a little bit.
They really were. And again, they found themselves getting way too spread out. Not even so much at the beginning of that defensive third, but as they really got closer to the 18, you saw Panama getting a little bit extra space, making one or two extra passes. And it really wasn't until Panama got the ball near the 6 on a few different occasions where the U.S. finally clamped down and were able to begin their counterattacks. But that was living a little bit too dangerously, if you ask me.
Yeah, certainly. That was the thing, is they didn't seem to be ready, and I think, Yedlin should be given a lot of credit here, because it wasn't just that. There was a header that he also got in at the last second as well to save an opportunity where he had to use his speed to get back. There was another opportunity where he had to double back and make a challenge that was important. So you can immediately tell within that first half how different it is to see DeAndre Yedlin there and his experience, and how much better of a defender he is now too, playing with Newcastle instead of having Graham Zusi. I don't want to make this the knock Zusi game, but I think we can all admit DeAndre Yedlin's better.
Absolutely. DeAndre Yedlin is playing his natural position. A little bit better, more used to it, faster. He could generate that play a lot better on the wing once he has the ball and the situation is settled. Zusi still has to work up to that.
Yeah, certainly. Zusi is a little slow, too. He gets beat. That's something that Yedlin can help with because he's got the speed to get back and keep that from happening. Whereas, Zusi gets beat, you're kind of screwed on that side, and you got to hope that the defense holds when the cross comes in, or if someone makes a challenge right at the death there. But that's what Yedlin provides. He can get back, and he can also make the challenges need to be made, or that last ditch thing. He can be there for that. I do want to say that another guy I think we need to point out is Bobby Wood. How active he was in this game. He got a few from Pulisic where if it wasn't for Pinedo making saves, they would have gone in the net, and it could have been even more. And he was just really active. He causes the penalty for Josie and a play that's just by himself. And he decides, okay, I'm just going to go right in from the right. He goes in. Yeah, again, you can call it ticky-tack or whatever, but he draws it. He does the bulk of the work. I get you have your designated PK takers, but I kind of thought that, probably Wood did all the work, let him take the goal.
Yeah, it would have made more sense, and He nearly had one kind of on his own before he
Hmm.
finally scored, going in, just bulldozing up the center of the pitch, and eventually almost scoring 1v3.
Yeah, that's the one that went wide,
Yeah,
and
and that ball goes just about a foot and a half to the right. That's in the net.
yeah. Then you started seeing, once the second half came around, which honestly, other than the things that we talked about, those were your chances for Panama in that first half. That was it. Again, they looked a little dangerous on the counter, like we said, but after that third goal went in, it was like they just put their hands up and were like, "Can we just go? Can we just get
Mm-hmm.
off this pitch right now?" And you got to kind of feel bad for him. It's like you could have gone to the half 2-0. You come out differently. You get a goal early. Then it's a nervy game the rest of the way. But at 3-0, that's really different. And then in that second half, you started seeing Pulisic get kicked a lot more. He had a couple of you got the Murillo yellow card that happened, and then you had the other one where Pulisic got hit in the ankle, and they finally decided to take him out around the 57th minute or so, and Dax Picardi came in. I thought Dax Picardi did play pretty well, too, just being that force in the midfield. He had that really nice through ball towards the end to Arriola, but Pinedo saved it. That was something memorable, I think. Definitely just, I think the second half is just, it's weird to just say. I mean, it's really cool for Wood to get that goal after trying so hard. But that
Mm-hmm.
second half was really just almost like a training session for the U.S. I mean,
It
Panama
really
just wanted to get
was.
off the. Panama just wanted to go.
They wanted to go, and I think for the good first 5-10 minutes with Dempsey on the pitch to the crowd's request, they tried to work it into him, get him some great chances to get the record-breaking goal, but after a while, the team thankfully just realized, hey, let's play our game. If it happens, it happens. And it still nearly did.
Yeah, I'm glad that the U.S. kept playing too. They kept going forward. They kept pressing the issue. They kept taking the ball away on turnovers, which Panama were making even more of. Yeah, Dempsey almost had that one from Dax, where it really late at like 88th minute or so, where if he would have been able to get to it, that would have been the goal. But unfortunately for him, it didn't happen. Just yeah, it. Yeah, I was just glad to see the crowd was really involved. Everybody was into this. They did the special moment of silence for the Las Vegas shootings and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Just really nice to see that Orlando came in and made it a great building to be in, and I'm sure that the next World Cup cycle they're going to make that. Um, if Orlando keeps going, maybe that's the place that you go more often than not. Maybe you go to Orlando twice in the cycle or something. But that was really great to see. Anybody else that you thought, man, he really stands out? It's Arriola. I think how much did we talk about him in the Gold Cup where you're questioning, you're saying I don't know about him, but man, he's really become somebody that you can count on over there on that right side.
Where was this for DC United? Ben. Sorry.
He's played well. They've won more often than not or drawn since he's been there.
It's still a soft spot.
Okay, I just want to point out that since him and the other guys got there in the transfer season, that they were different. They've been a different team. So those transfers make a difference. But either way, he runs, he goes box to box, he defends, he goes forward, and he never stops running. And I really appreciate that from him. He was really the one that kind of drove things aside from Pulisic. And it kind of made Nagby sort of, other than that on that one counter where he was the one that kind of led it because the ball came to him,
Mm-hmm.
he was really quiet.
Yeah. Nagby, I think, with the way that the U.S. played, they kind of phased him out because, as you said, Arriola and the other guys were like, okay, we can kind of do this too. We have the advantage in certain matchups. And again, even Arriola with 2-3 guys kind of hawking him down from his right side, still making moves and generating a great chance. And it was kind of weird to see Nagby just like disappear, but it worked out.
Yeah, it's mainly because Pulisic was also very key on that left side, so sort of Navi was kind of staying back, I think, because Pulisic was roaming so much, which is fine. I think you want him to do that. He's generating things offensively. What did you think about? I thought the soft spot there for the U.S. was we talked about on the counter, because Bradley was kind of being left by himself because they're pushing
Mm-hmm.
so many forward, and then you're not having guys tuck back in. And against a tougher squad, that's going to get exposed.
Yeah, to me, I felt it kind of weird because that midfield almost morphed into like a 5-man situation, and I don't think, and it's shown, Bradley doesn't work as like essential in a 5-man midfield. So anytime that happens, other teams are going to definitely harp on that.
Yeah, and he had some giveaways
Mm-hmm.
as well, which that's a part of the game that I think he continually gets harped on, and it's important because if you're the defensive midfielder and you're the only defensive midfielder, now in other cases he does play the more traditional with Acosta, or I think Bedoya could play there, or someone else. Did we see Nagby play there? I don't think that's where he should play, but that's another time. But I think he obviously does play with that second person better. But
Uh-huh.
if you're gonna play with the one person, he can't give up anything, because if you give up
No.
something, it's immediate, right in front of the. It may not be immediately right in front of the back four, but then you have no protection for that back four. And if people get caught flat-footed, they go right by whoever it is, whether it's Gonzalez and Beasler or Cameron and Brooks or whoever, and you're right on front of Howard or Guzan, and that's a problem. So, and I don't think this is the last time we're going to see a formation like this where Bradley's going to have to be that guy that kind of sucks things in, and you are that shield in front of the defense. You've got to be a shield. You cannot give balls away. And you've
No.
got to make sure that when you make that pass, it's a secure one.
Yeah, and I really think that if they are going to do that, don't have him back. Have him up if you're going to morph it into a 4-2-3-1. That way, you have a little bit better support without him in front of that back four, and he can move and push things forward in the counterattack, or if you're generating a good attacking phase of play right at the back of your attacking half, he can try to find the connections and make those passes, making his run shorter.
Yeah, I don't know that you need that for him though. You've got enough.
No,
Let's say you go with this formation that you have, or the guys that we saw tonight. I don't know that you need him to do that because you have Pulisic in front of him that's sort of going to be doing that role.
right, and this is what I'm saying. If you're going to have that 4-2-3-1 in a sense, then you're better off without Bradley. Because even if you're doing a 4-3-2-1, really, what's the point? If you're trying to stick with a 4-4-2, keep that.
I don't even think that was that felt more like a 4-1-3-2 to me than anything else. Is Bradley's just sitting there by himself on that one line, and then you have Pulisic kind of roaming ahead of the other two that are staying wide and not coming in. That's the point, though. When you have that 4-1-3-2, those three are supposed to sort of. You could be wide, but you're supposed to come in too, and they're not coming in. So like everything's just bam right at Bradley, and I think that's too much at times.
Way too much.
I would say, there's times where this partnership hasn't worked. Let's be honest, but we have seen it work, and I think it worked again with Gonzalez and Beasler. They didn't have too much to do, but they were solid. And I thought Biafania was still a little shaky sometimes. I think I saw a couple of errant passes, and then also kind of getting back. So that's something again to worry about. I still feel like if we're gonna have Fabian Johnson in the team, that's where he might be best, is in that left back role. Because even if, look, I know we felt like Naby was sort of a ghost in this game. I think that's going to sort of continue to be that way if you're going to play Pulisic where he was in this game. So do you really need Fabian Johnson there in the midfield? I feel like secure that left back position and have a guy that knows how to play that, and he can get forward too if you need him to. What do you think?
No, it's absolutely, especially if you're going to have Yedlin do similar things on the right, make it truly to where you can go up either flank if you need to, and have that same kind of style at a left back. So that way, maybe if you drop someone else back in central defense, or if you have to, someone deeper, even deeper holding midfielder, okay, you open up those wings, and then you're kind of developing into a maybe faux X formation.
Oh, God. I feel like we can't go a show without you mentioning the X formation.
Hey now,
you need to get that patented at some point here.
Renegades United has made their first ever cup final, despite the fact that we have drawn 6 straight matches in all competitions. I can't explain that, but I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, I think a lot would have been said had this gone south about Bruce Arena, about the team. They got the job done in this game, and now you're needing 3 points against the weakest competition in the Hex. It's not guaranteed by any means. You're still having to go to Trinidad and get the points. You got to secure those first.
Right, but the thing is, and I've said this again, and I can say this probably for the last time, you don't give TNT the ammo of getting revenge for 89. They don't have that anymore.
Well, the U.S. loses, though. You're then having to pray that Panama loses or gets a draw. So,
but the thing is, in 89, that match, which the U.S. won to qualify for Italy in 90, flat out knocked TNT out. You're not doing that.
Yeah, but TNT could still want to play spoiler if they want to.
Yeah, but playing spoiler and having a nearly 30-year revenge factor are two different things. It's an extra morale boost, a little extra motivation.
I don't know that any of those players are still thinking about 1989 at this point. How many of them are born before then? It's 0-0 between Mexico and Trinidad, by the way, in about the 62nd minute.
Well, that's a little surprising. No, none of those players are going to be thinking about that themselves. Absolutely. But you don't think the rest of the country is going to be thinking about that?
Oh, I guess. Again, how many of people were alive in 1980? How old were we? Come on.
What are you talking about? 1989, I was already down here in Florida, and that was the year I experienced my first snow.
I was 4 years old.
Yes,
3 or 4 years old.
Yes, and I was 3.
Okay, that's the point, though. Like, are we really remembering this from being 3 years old? I'm just saying. I get what you're pointing at. History is it's an important factor, but
exactly. Tell that to England in 1950 or Italy in 1966. I'm just saying.
I feel like the U.S. makes a bigger deal of that than England does at this point.
Then why does England still almost never wear blue?
Beats me. I feel like they have worn blue before, though.
Yeah, I saw a goalkeeper several years ago for their B squad playing a match against Belarus. He wore blue. England's never worn blue ever since that 1950 match. What happens? Routine goal kick, and the keeper breaks his leg.
God. Awful. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, now it's all to do on Tuesday. I think you can. We just talked about how well the team played in this game. You're going to hope that they do the same in Trinidad. Remember the first game, it took some magic from Pulisic to get that win. So hopefully it doesn't come down to that. You know, you'd hope it's another comfortable win just like this one was, and you can already book it to Russia for the U.S. We'll see how things go. Obviously, the Saturday game between Honduras and Costa Rica now because of the tropical storm Nate. And, our well wishes to all those people that are going to be affected in the New Orleans area, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Be careful, be safe. Thankfully and hopefully it only stays as a Category 1 and is not all of a sudden just go crazy. We've seen that happen before, Katrina. So,
Yep.
let's hope that things stay the way that they're supposed to. And yeah, so I don't think that any of the stuff that is out there right now is so pressing that we have to talk about it on this show. I would say that the under 17 World Cup team did the business, which you expect them to do, 3-0 against India. Goal difference is going to matter against India in this one. You think everybody's going to get their 3 points against India. Remember, the best thirds are important here. Ghana beat Colombia 1-0. The goal came in about the 39th minute. I haven't gone back to watch that game, so I probably will. Might do it actually after we finish here. But yeah, the squad looked good. Just I don't want to take too much out of, again, playing a weakened India team that, and you had to give 27,000 seats away because the prime minister was there and you didn't want it to look empty with him being there. Just, yeah, another thing we didn't mention, the president of Panama was there.
Yeah, I said the whole country, all 4 million people, they're like, we're not going to be doing anything for the next 2 hours. This is important.
Yeah, crazy that you have the president of Panama there in that stadium.
Not really. It's like, hey, y'all know what time it is. Come on, let's go.
Well, yes. I think certainly we should be happy about this, but job's not done. Got to wait till Tuesday. A lot of things are going to be important for Tuesday. And Australia already in that driver's seat as well, going back home to Sydney to play a 1-1 draw. Only got to win on the aggregate, get another goal, get another couple goals. You beat Syria, then you got to go to that playoff. I really hope Panama gets at least to the playoff. I'd hate for them to at least not have the chance to qualify.
And Syria, guess what? You're going up against what's going to be the only show in town. AFL has had their grand final. Congratulations to Richmond, their first premiership in over 30 years. NRL will have had their grand final by then. So, yeah, no matter what city they play in, it's going to be sold out because that's the big ticket.
Yep, certainly. All eyes are going to be on the Socceroos there for that playoff to make sure they get in. And then, of course, New Zealand will be fighting whoever gets that 5th place in South America, which we will know by the end of Tuesday night. So, once again, should mention Argentina in 6th place right now. They need to get a win against Ecuador and hope that Peru loses or doesn't get any more points. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, should be an interesting Tuesday night. We'll be back on Sunday night, though, because there are some MLS games to talk about. FC Dallas and Colorado is going to matter. All those games matter. New York is playing. That's going to be an interesting MLS season that's coming almost to a close. They were talking a lot about Decision Day on the broadcast there, mentioning that ESPN's going to be covering that. So, and Trinidad and Tobago have scored
What
and are
the?
leading 1-0 at Azteca. They are
What?
5-0 all-time Mexico in Azteca against Trinidad and Tobago.
With a
So,
plus 16 goal. What the?
hey, Well, maybe we can watch the end of that. All right, when we get done here. But all right. Hopefully you enjoyed what you heard. Again, we have two.
And you said that 89 doesn't matter.
Oh my God! Come on! It doesn't matter what Trinidad does; they're already eliminated. Stop. Mexico also doesn't care; they're already qualified. I mean, let's face it; they've got other things to worry about, like those earthquakes and all that. So, sadly, that's what they do have to worry about that. But still, again, if you like what you heard, subscribe. That always helps us. If you like what you heard even more and you want to let people know about it, write a review on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. You can comment there at wsmnet.com, which is our home website. Also on lastwordonsoccer.com. Wherever you want to listen to us, we are thankful. And for Eric and for myself, we'll be back on Sunday night. Until then, see you later, everybody.
Peace.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.